for it. It is finally here. The Wake Up Guyana Show with yours truly, Leonard Gildarie. Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Make your voices be heard. Call us, text us. Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. The Wake Up Guyana Show. Hi, yes, good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana Show here on Kaieteur Radio. I hope that you're feeling it. I see on our screen right now the boys have brought up season's greetings. Are you feeling the Christmas season right now? Well, I'm not really feeling it, but guess what? I'm excited because it's another year that we have to live. It's another year that we have been able to maneuver the potholes to reach where we are. It is enough reasons to have blessings upon us. It's been such a terrible year for a lot of people. Some people would have been able to capitalize on it. At the end of the day, we have to say, look, we live to fight another day, and we just pick ourselves up and we continue because we're not going to stop. We are going to continue to fight. So today I want to say a good day to you wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing. Good day to you. Make sure that you are protecting yourselves. Make sure that you are doing what is necessary to protect the others, your loved ones, your children, the vulnerable in our society. It's a message that we are not going to be put in one side. We are going to be ensuring that we push that message every single day as we go forward in this beautiful country of ours. So you tuned into the Wake Up Guyana Show here on Kaieteur Radio, and today we are going to do a couple of things like I've always said before, leading up in the early days of the show, is that we want to make it very informative. We want to make it very interactive. We're going to not only talk on issues that are concerning our people, we're not only going to be allowing our people to talk on issues that relates to them. This is going to be a forum in which your voice counts, because it is important that we be able to tell our people what is happening, what bothers us, and so that is what we will continue to do. One of the promises, or a number of promises that we made, was to bring officials onto this program here. We would have also committed to you as the people of Guyana to bring, persons within our society who would have made contributions. Today is one such day that we have brought somebody. But before I introduce you to her, somebody, we have to look at role models in this country here, this beautiful country of ours, and make sure that we pay attention to what they're doing, because it's all part of the success story that we want to build when it comes to Guyana. But first, matters of the house. We will do what we have been doing every single day, looking at the top stories. And there's no other places or no other place that you could go for it other than the Guyana's largest selling daily newspaper and your favorite newspaper, Kaieteur News. And this is what it has to say on December the 3rd, 2020. This is what you need to know. Why was $1 million bank deposit by James Bond not red flagged? You could recall this attorney at law is in deep trouble now, would have been locked up recently before the courts. Not as yet. But what has been done is that he's been investigated for his role in a transaction involving state lands And when you make big deposits or big transactions in your account in Guyana, you would know that the bank is supposed to flag you as a suspicious character. What we do know in this particular time, that when the questions are being asked, when James Bond deposited this money into his account, was there any red flags, and if so, were questions asked? Did he give an explanation? What were those explanations? So that's a story there, because when you go into the bank, a normal man in the street, they're being asked so many questions, have to fill or have to do so many reports, and it is a hurdle that we have to cross every time there. So main story today: avoid being trapped, sign short-term oil and gas deals. This is the Institute of Americas, and they've been looking at our country here and making statements. Have a report here, and the report have been pointing out a number of deficiencies within our oil arrangements. And what we could tell you, that they say, look, don't go into these 20, 30 years deals, but make sure you go on short-term deals so that people could understand that they need to, if you don't want another deal, they are going to be ensuring that they sign these deals accordingly short-term. Government sues firearm dealers over failure to honor $380 million weapon deal with GDF, the Army. And this is just an indictment on the way that our system works. Imagine that you have a contractor. What are some of the safeguards that you would do before you have a contract in place? Let me tell you what are some of the safeguards. Before you even start a contract, you have to ensure that you have a couple of things. I know that we're not getting any video at the moment. We're working very hard at that right now to fix that little issue there. Just bear up with us as the boys in the studio do their things. But what we could tell you, before you even get a contract with the government or sign any tenders, you have to provide a couple of things to the government. Maybe a bond showing that you have part of the money and they hold on part of the money, a percentage of the money via bank guarantee or a check or something, a manager's check that you present to them. So if you don't deliver, they're going to crack down on that and take it away and seize it and use it, utilize it as part of the damages that because you did not deliver. And so why is it that government, have to be suing people for not delivering? Army, $380 million. Do you know what $380 million could be doing? We had $45 million, $4.5 billion that we had for the people's, cash grant for COVID-19. $380 million is just like about 1.5 million US dollars, just over that. So, we got to be very, very serious about what we're doing. In the meantime, Chinese contractor demands more money for completion of the CGIA expansion project. And this is another slap on the face for the people of Guyana. We have 150 million US dollars project there. It's been dragging on. It's going on almost a decade now. Chinese contractor asked to make a project workable, that we could be able to have a delivery of a project in which you committed to. Chinese people come back and say, as a contractor, we're going to deliver this project to you, but you have to give us more money. In which part of the world could you be so disrespected other than, what we have allowed? Consecutive governments have allowed this, and so it's about time there's a new government in place that we start putting these things behind us and we start saying, no, we should not be allowing it. 30-year sentence for ex-GDF rank who killed toddler in fire. Shocking case there. Corruption of public officials. Nigeria oil field sale by the minister was legal. Big case going on with Nigeria with Shell and another company there. And the lawyers are arguing back and forth. It's a big case. All eyes on that case, the oil world, because it involves a big company, Shell. And we know that Shell would have had some dealings in Guyana before we discovered oil. They were selling their oil, shipping oil to Guyana and selling it. When I say oil, gas and diesel and so on. And so we are continuing to pay attention because that is a big case. National printer cell non-cooperating finance minister on leave. Ask audit office to investigate purchase of used $100 million printing equipment. Shocking case here again. There's a new board of directors at our state-owned Guyana National Printers, which prints things like calendars and the official gazette and so on. And the new board says to the finance manager, please bring me your financials and some other details that we asking for. before. He dilly-dallied, dragged his foot and so on, and they were of the opinion that something was going on. They sent him on leave yesterday. The board took a decision sending him on leave. However, this is a indictment again on our systems that we have here, because when we have monies being spent and a man, people being locked up for a spliff here and there or some ganja here and there. Man, I'm not saying this guy did it. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. What we do know is that in everything that we do, there must be systems and procedures with double checks on our finances. And in this particular case, this man was so bold, or whatever it is that in his particular case, but he refused to engage the board of directors of our state-owned Guyana National Printers. And now, Guyana National Printers was under the spotlight because it went overseas when they could have gone local. And they went and print exercise books and textbooks and, also bypass many things were breached there. And so the new management and the new board they have the job to correct what we have here. Well, very quickly, let's go to our newspaper here. Security guard arrested after gunfire, granted bail. Let me see what it is. Why was 1 million? Let me see very quickly. There's a new MMA board, MMA. There's a Myconia Barry area there, and Dr. Bob Ramnott, and they have been given a mandate to open up new lands, and they develop phase 2 of that scheme. That scheme there, the MMA ADA, is almost similar to the Blackbush Poll in opening new lands and making a system available to the people to farm. And those are good things that we see here. In the meantime, Big Head. This is Shervinton Lovell, the owner of the purported owner of a couple of hotels in Guyana, was arrested in Jamaica, has entered into a plea deal with the U.S. authorities, supposed to be sentenced next year, April. Big case because he's very well known here in Guyana. And of course, there's another story here. Spotlight on challenges faced with persons with disabilities. We have to continue to pay attention with our people who are vulnerable to various things that are happening in Guyana. We can't we cannot be not paying attention to them. Molly Hassan is new Guy Oil deputy GM. She would have been the CEO of the state-owned NCN. Let me see. School and uniform supplies voucher distribution launch in Georgetown. Some parents are started collecting. Housing Ministry engages West Demerara communities on development. All this is in the Kaieteur newspaper of today. It's December the 3rd. And you should get your copy as always because there's so many news in there. Venezuela is among 3 remanded for slitting pork knocker's throat. And this is a very shocking case here. Happened in the hinterlands of Guyana. First Lady, Human Services Ministry, to collaborate on children's welfare matters. And this has to do with the removal of children, adoption issues, and so on. I like to see things like this because when you have it. And there's a big story that's happening right now. There's a big debate that's divided this nation, at least some parts of it. Haitians. The arrests and the deportation of Haitians. And this issue, like I said before, has nothing to do with race. At least that is how I understand it based on our investigations here. It has to do with simply a group of people who've decided to capitalize on the poor plight of the Haitians, bring them here as a transshipment. No other country in the world allows Guyana to be a stepping stone into another nation. Why? Because a group of people want to make money, and they have been, aggressively pushing that line. This has to do simply with a transshipment with a gang that is operating in Guyana, making money. It has nothing to do with any kind of race or anything. So let's don't get fooled by those who are trying to push that line. It has nothing to do with Haitians and black people and Indian people and Chinese people. It has to do with the protection of our borders. It has to do with the rule of law. It has to do with respect. You cannot, no country, imagine you bring in these people. As we speak right now, there's a number of Cubans squatted at the ferry terminal there on the Guyana side of things, or in Suriname. They are waiting for when Guyana is going to restart its ferry service in Guyana. Now, why are you allowing people to enter your country because Suriname doesn't want them anymore? We got to be very, very careful. The people need to be protected first and foremost before we start looking there. There's a very old saying, charity begins at home, and that's what we have to look at as we go forward. So I think we are going to tell you a couple of things. It's just about quarter after one. They're about 16 minutes after one, and we're going to tell you that we will be opening our lines just immediately after we speak with our guest, who's also in the house right now, and she is no other than a lady who has made it very, very simple. And there's a play upon the words here, because she has opened an entity, a business, which I really loved it when I listened. I want to welcome Ali Williams to our studio. I think for the folks who are involved, in the show business in Guyana, what's the show business, in the fashion business and so on, that name would definitely ring a bell, because she would have been a player in that area, stakeholder, if you want to call it that way. But she is no ordinary person. There's so many examples that we could take, so many stories that we could learn from her. And as we want to develop this country, we want to talk about guts, we want to talk about taking chances and making it happen. Ali Williams would be one of the persons I decided to call her, because I saw her story featured in the Kaieteur newspaper a couple of weeks back, and sometime back again, talking about her story there. And as we chronicle the stories of the people within our society, we have to tell them. We can't just keep it and write it and it's hidden somewhere and nobody sees it. We have to tell it to the people of Guyana, so we could be able to probably learn and maybe emulate these people. So Ali Williams, welcome to this program, ma'am. And I'm not sure, I think we are about to switch so we could be able to, those who are viewing us, wherever you are, I want to say good day to you, North America, Europe, right across the Caribbean, and Trinidad, Suriname, French Guyana, of course, Brazil. I think we have a lot of people tuned in and there too. And you could get us on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. And we're coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio, 99.1 Esquibo, as well as Demerara. And if you're in Berbice, it's 99.5. Much love to you from our studio here. We can't do without you every single day. We have to come on here, rain or shine, whether we broke or we have money in our pockets, because that's the mad love that we have for you. Ali Williams, welcome to our show, my dear.
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon to all your listeners.
I must say that I like your hair. It's if you've come all dolled up here. Now let me tell you a little, and then Ali is gonna jump right into it. If you just forgive me for calling you by your first name, but I like to say that we know Rihanna. We call Rihanna by her first name, but let me tell you. Ali is a single parent, and she has a business that she started up, and she will tell you a little about that. So we are, as part of this program of Waking Up Guyana, to wake up your soul. Do not sit on your hands. There are opportunities in Guyana here, and opportunities that you should take advantage of. And sometimes you're not going to see it right away, but down the line, people get to know you, and you're dependent. They could depend on you, that you could deliver on those services that you're promising them. And in Guyana, because of pandemic, there's a whole bunch of things that's opening up right now. So Ali Williams has a business made simple. And it's not made MAD, it's MAID, as in, the lady that does the very important work of, making sure that your house is kept up to date, that, things are clean and well in place and so on. But Made Simple is a business that really caters for those people who want those kind of services. But I'm going to pass it over, because I think I've been talking too much. Ali is a very strange name for somebody. Normally you hear it as a last name, and I know the story behind it, because I read the story. But why Ali?
I got it from my grandfather. He passed a couple months before I was born. However, I was the last grandchild, so he asked that my first name be his last name be my first. So I have the honor of having Ali as my first name.
Very good. And so we want to talk to you, because you have a business. You've started up something, and I know it's catching on. A lot of people are starting to call, because you're not sitting on your hands. You are being very aggressive with your marketing and so on. Made Simple. What is Made Simple?
Made Simple Guyana, it's a residential and commercial cleaning service. Basically, the company offers you a very wide range of services. We have pressure washing. So if you're looking to have your yard, your home, large buildings as well as small, we can do that. So we have maid services because we find everybody's busy. Everybody wants to have their home maintained, but they may not have the time. So you can call us and we can provide maid service for you, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly. You can have that as well. If you're looking for persons just to come in on a one-off, meaning you just want to clean your home for Christmas or for the holidays or for any particular event, you can call and we can send a group of persons. They clean, they leave. We have upholstery and carpet service. So all your rugs, anything upholstery, even your leather chairs, we can have those clean and polished for you. So it's an entire service that we offer in terms of cleaning. Anything that you can think about, we clean, and we offer these services not only to homes. You can do. We have organizations that we cover. Even if you're looking for temp staff, we can provide that as well. Lately, we actually launched the car wash and detailing service. So we are now doing or taking care of your automotive in terms of cleaning your interior, washing, polishing your lights, things like that.
Oh, very good. And you know what is important, but this is not so much about advertising Ali's business. What we want to do is tell the stories because right about now, what is more important for me, Gildarie, and I think Glenn and so on, everybody who's paying attention, watching very closely how this country is developing, as we have oil and gas now, not an ordinary thing, and we have to pay attention. How our locals benefiting. What the lesson here that we're really trying to tell our people is that look, do not sit on your hands. Do not just stand right there. You're gonna see in the beginning, start something, whether it's a farming thing, whether it's some pepper sauce. I'm not saying start thinking whether it's a transportation business. Start something because nobody we complain, the foreigners are coming into our country and taking over all the job. My question to you, what are you doing about it? Are you sitting on your hands? And I'd say sitting in your hands. When you sit in your hands, you can't do anything. It simply means that. So just get up. You need to start finding out what are some of the procedures. What are some of the things that are being offered by the government in terms of incentives, maybe cash grants and so on. What are the banks offering? Is there something that you can do if you don't have the money, but you have the property and you have the ID? Is there something you could do? You could get training to even to prepare even business plans and so on. But Ali, in the story of where you are with Made Simple right now, it wasn't always there. There was a time before you had an idea, but you weren't sure what to do, or you didn't had an idea whether it's going to be successful. What prompted you, and what did it take to arrive at where you are at the moment?
Okay, so this started as an MBA final project. Basically, if you're doing your MBA, you would have to put together a company. So you do marketing, operations, and all of that. In the meantime, I am putting together Made Simple Guyana. I was actually working with an organization and realized that this company was about 4 months in. I was actually making a little more than my actual job. But the attention, the care, because you hire people, they don't. Customer service is a big thing for me, and one of the reasons I think I'm doing a little better than is because of customer service. I got a lot of people who recommend me, so I quit my job, invested everything that I had, and of course I have support from my family. And I went into this. Now, people might think, okay, it just happens like that. No, when I started, I basically had probably about 4 customers. And of course, from that, they recommend, you bill. But every day I am out there. Every day I go to companies, I send out my letters, I let them know what services that I have. You may not get, or I don't necessarily get, if I send out 100 letters, I probably get a response from 2. But I'm thinking, one day, they will change their cleaning service. They will be looking for somebody, and they will remember Made Simple Guyana has been there. They've been sending letters, let me give this company an opportunity. And we find now they have lots of companies like Center for Local Business. They're actually helping. You were saying about places you can go. Center for Local Business, I actually want to bid with them, but they actually offer training, and the oil and gas sector is actually looking for persons who are, because people have businesses, but not necessarily, they're not NIS compliant, GRA compliant, and health and safety is one of the big things that, the oil and gas field is looking for. So even if you're starting, these are things that you also have to make sure that you have in place if you're going to even apply to bid.
Yes, and so what Ali Williams would have been saying there, what the GRA and NIS compliant, there's some people who would not know. Yesterday, this issue came up when we had Minister Joseph Hamilton on the show, the Minister of Labor, and he did talk about that. Now, if you're in a business and you want to tender for government work and so on, one of the requirements is that you're showing that if you have employees that you're paying your NIS commitments there, and so they give you what you call a compliance report or a form, which stating that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and keeping with the laws. GR is the same thing. It shows that you're keeping your commitments when it comes to paying your taxes. Very, very important, because a lot of companies. That's why I asked the minister about the companies. If it is that you're still bidding your security company and you're not paying your NIS, how are you getting contracts? Because somebody's not paying attention, somebody's being bribed. But Ali Williams is making it very clear as an entrepreneur with some of these things. And she has a very good point there, pointing out that there's some opportunities being created now. There's the Center for Local
Business.
Local business, and that is, if you really want to get in and do stuff in the oil business, especially with Exxon, this is the body that you would want to. It's located at the iPad building on, I think, South Road.
Yes.
South Road. Yeah, it's on South Road, in an iPad building compound there, and they could tell you how you have to start the process if you want to do business with the oil companies and so on, how you got to start and what you got to get up and so on.
And the services are free as well.
And the services are free, so they advise you and so on. And they could give you the training too. There's some training available. So that's in essence, I want to share that with you because it's part of the education process. But back to you, were there days that you cried maybe and said I made a wrong decision?
Well, actually, when I started, I thought I would win the bid for Exxon, and I didn't. I went home and I sobbed almost all evening because you're young into this. You don't have too much experience, and as you go along, you learn. But that was one of the things. But there are frustrating days where you go out every day and you try your best, and there are of course situations that arise. Staff, maybe customers, and there are different things that you have to deal with. But yes, there are days that you pull your hair out, but you have to find ways of coping with them, and you have to realize that even though these things are happening, life is that way. It isn't going to go perfect, but you have every day you have to wake up, you have to set goals, because every day I say, okay, I'm going to go to 10 customers. Every day I'm going to call this many. So every day you have to pretty much put out a goal or set a goal, what you want to do this week, what you want to just try to do it. You may not get results right away, but every day you have to go out there and try. You just can't sit down and think people are going to come to you. Because as like myself, I don't know many people, but every day I go out. Every day I try to reach out to organizations to let them know of my services. Because if people don't know about your services, you could sit all day at home wishing and hoping and nothing will happen.
What she's saying there, one of Guyana's entrepreneur here, is aggression is something that we should be paying attention to. If you really want to get in your business and you want to get in the groove of having things, do not sit down. Do not sit in the office and expect people are going to come knocking on your doors. You need to get out there, start sending out letters. As she says, put in 100 letters. When I say letters, you made contact with 100 companies. Only 2 might reply to you, and even then put you on a waiting list. However, it's just about 1:30 right about now, and it's your insurance time. We are going to take a break but right about now, it's the insurance time, which we have to tell you. If you have a fender bender, get free coverage of up to $250,000 today. Full coverage with CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269 0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. We are going to take a break right now. When we back, we are going to continue with Ali Williams. And very shortly after that, I want to open these lines so we could be able to talk to our people. 6222222 is where you send your messages to. Last couple of days, because of guests, we didn't get to read everything, but we want to ensure that we read everything today. And now the line that is open is 2267453.
Sleep in comfort this Christmas with a certain mattress from Singer. Buy a king-size mattress for the price of a queen and a queen size for the price of a double. Singer, at home, worldwide.
Get ready! Singer and Frigidaire are bringing you enough winnings! 4 lucky customers will win their share of $1 million in appliances from Frigidaire when they shop at Singer. Purchase any Frigidaire item from Singer to get the chance to be one of 4 winners of Frigidaire store credit valued $250,000 each. With weekly draws, the earlier you shop, the more chances you have to win. Glam up your kitchen, fix up your laundry, get enough winnings with Singer and Frigidaire. Promotion ends December 21, 2020.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Wake Up Show right here on Kaieteur Radio. What we're doing right now, we have been bringing, two of our people talking of this and everything. Yesterday we spoke about the labor situation in Guyana, where we're at and where we need to be. And as always, we said we're going to look at some interesting people. We did had our girl, Poonam Singh here. Before that, Jackie Jacks, I think it is. And, we bring our people here. Today we have one of our people that, who has made it through grit. Ali Williams has a company called Mate Services and offer things from body vehicle detailing to, simply Mate Services if you want pressure washing or just simply as somebody to come clean up for you. That's the kind of services. And she's been battling it as a single mom, working it to make it happen. And we're talking about single parents here, Ali. How difficult it is that you're running a business and managing kids. I can tell you there's a full-time work. I can tell you from experience.
The little one is full-time work. I think time management. For me, because my oldest is 17, the youngest is 14. So I think it's a bit easier for me. Now that school is happening at home, it's a bit difficult because you don't find enough time to check in because you're at work. So every afternoon, of course, you make sure that you sit down, you have time. But I think it's time management. Luckily, I've had support from my grandmother when they were younger. So I didn't have that much as a struggle as a single parent because I've always had help. And my children, from I don't know, young to now, they are very well behaved. They do well in school. I try my best to work as much as possible with them. So.
All right, and Mate Service, if somebody's out there, I think people are asking, how do they get in contact with you?
We are on Hunter Street. That is 116 Hunter Street.
There's an Abai sign?
West Rheinveld.
Oh.
2 buildings just before, if you're coming from the back road, it's 2 buildings just before the West Rheinveld Primary School. And of course, we are on Facebook. You can message us, send us a message. That's Made Simple Guyana on Facebook. We are also on Instagram, and you can contact us on 608-2840 if you're looking to WhatsApp as well.
608-2840, 608-2840, and there's on WhatsApp as well. And they're on Facebook to Made Simple Guyana.
Simple Guyana.
Right, so that's it. So I want to ask you, Ali, what would you say? Because obviously people are looking on and says, well, if she can do it, maybe I can do it too. What would you say to the people of Guyana who may be thinking of something and they have not, they don't probably have the courage or they didn't find the time to do it?
Well, that's just it. You just can't think it. At some point, you are going to have to put it into plan. So make sure, one, you put out a detailed plan, what you're going to do. And then each day you take little steps. So you go register it. Even if you're afraid, go register it. After you register it, if you're looking for office space, if it is that you're buying clothes, it depends on what area you're looking to get into. Start, make a step every day, and you'll see it will grow. If you put the effort into it, which is what I have done, and I tell people because people see me and they might say, oh, you've gone a far way, because this has only happened 3 years ago, and I think from where I came and where I am now, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I am doing well. So I would say lots of hard work. Put the effort into it. Go out every day, one day at a time, and you will see results.
So that's the story in a nutshell. I mean, we could go on and on, and it might take a couple of days to tell her story, but in a nutshell, that's it. So she was a model before. She's turned single mom and wanted a business, entrepreneur, successful at that. So there's a lot of stories there to be told, and then every single day, I think the story is about if you have a business, do not allow the little hurdles that come up to back you down a little. Start thinking, how do I get around it? If it's one person that stands in the way, whether it's at the government ministry or something, find somebody else, talk to somebody else, write letters. Just don't sit there. In our business here at Kaieteur News, Kaieteur Radio, whenever something comes up, I think of 100 different ways how I could deal with it, and I start tackling it all at once, and I never say no, because that is how it is. You gotta be very aggressive. You gotta be pushy. Sometimes you gotta be abrasive. Sometimes that's what it takes. Have you been abrasive anytime?
I'm not sure about abrasive, but I'm very firm when I need to be.
Very good, and that's what it takes for business. Is there anything else you want to tell the people of Guyana before we say call it a day with you? And then
No, I just want to say thank you all for having me in your homes, in your offices, wherever you're listening to, and I would appreciate your support. Remember, it's Made Simple Guyana. You can contact us on 608-2840 for any and all of your cleaning needs.
Thank you very much, dear. Ali Williams, model turned entrepreneur, and she has a company called Made Simple. And the story is not about promoting her business. The story is to tell you, indirectly she has gotten it there, but it is tell you, you want to start something, you want to start making this country into a success story. The old people would tell you, one dirty build them. Start somewhere. Together, we could start building this country into something great. But you have to be very strong. You have to be very disciplined. And I think we are going to get there somewhere. So thank you very much, Ali Williams.
Thank you
We're
for
proud of
having
you,
me.
my dear. And maybe one of these days you could tell us a little about the modeling stint that you were involved with. Do you still model?
No, I don't.
Okay.
The scenes have changed. I think I'm a little more modest now. I'm 38, so.
I gotta be careful. Are you looking at Ali Williams there, Raj? I'm not sure, but thank you very much, Ali Williams.
Thank you for having me.
Right, and I wish you all the best in your
Thank you so
continued
much.
endeavors. Okay, thank you. Have a good day, and we chat. Okay, so we are tuned in to the Wake Up Guyana show here as we say goodbye to Ali Williams here. It is a good story sometimes that we continue to. We continue to pay attention to some of the things that bothers us. Before we open the lines and before we get down to it, let me tell you very quickly a couple of things that we got to talk about. Sexual harassment in the workplace. So it's sexual harassment in the workplace. I understand a state agency is where one of the staffers was sent home recently. That is after a staffer complained. A staffer complained about issues, that this guy here was harassing her, making overtures and then even touching her body inappropriately and then laughing about it. She complained to management. There's a bigger story here. We're not talking about this particular story here, but we're talking about in workplace. You have rights as a woman, even as a man too, if you see a woman as being very inappropriate with you. You have that right you have to have that respect. It's a very serious thing. You could even be charged for that. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you do, make sure that you understand. Do not keep it quiet. Speak up about it. If you see that doesn't happen, there's so many ways that you can make it known, either to the police, to social media, to the newspaper. We need to know about it so we could be able to talk about it. Do not keep it there. People pressure you. We would have heard stories about our security guards and so female security guards being pressured by the supervisors, and so you continue to raise these issues here. We've been talking about the national printers there. We talk about that. There's one other issue that I want to talk to you about before we move on. This morning we were called by people in the Covent Garden. I think it's the 2nd Street area there, Covent Garden, on the East Bank of Demerara. They're fixing up the street there, and people are demanding. The residents, they've gotten smarter. If somebody is fixing up your street, state money being spent and so on, or they're doing some other projects that that the state is spending the money to do that. It's taxpayers' dollars, right? You heard about taxpayers' dollars. Taxpayers' dollars is your money if you're paying tax. That is the ones that are paying taxes. And, they're fixing the street. You could be able to ask them, what is it that you were contracted to do, especially if it's a private contractor? Could I see? So you could be able to know whether to put in 3 inches of bitumen and 4 inches of sand instead of putting half of that in a way that in which the shaft is, if you know what I mean. So you have that right. And so because you instead of having a road that lasts 50 years, you can have you have a road that lasts for maybe 5 years because of my boss had said the clockwork that these people would have given us. Let me tell you very, very clearly. As citizens, we have a right to demand when people come into communities to demand what it is that they're doing. And if you find that the Ministry of Public Works is the one that's in charge of that project, there you could call them and says, look, the contractor is here and doesn't want to comply. They need to tell us, and I need to know, or else I'm going to take this to the media. This is all part of the education process of making you aware of some of the of your rights as a citizen. And this is not me just saying this. The ministries would have been talking about it from time to time. The Central Housing and Planning Authority talking about some from time to time. If you want to know what is it that's been done in your communities, go wrong and tell the contractor that I have a right as your boss to find out. And if you see they don't do it, take a picture of all of them, and you come back to us and let us know. The ministries, the RDCs, the NDCs, all should be engaged. And if you see all else has failed, you have the media. Want you to know that, because it's your money. And don't come complain to us about your road breakup. If you didn't say anything or you didn't do anything when you know they were giving you a 6 for a 9. And you know what it means, a 6 for a 9. You didn't get what you paid for. So that's a very good thing. Covent Garden is calling on the contractor there that's doing 2nd Street Covent Garden to produce the bill of quantities so they could know whether you've given them a 6 for a 9 there. And this goes for all communities right across the country. This is a message from your favorite radio station here, Kaieteur Radio, and as well as your favorite newspaper, Kaieteur newspaper as well. So I just want to get that out. Citizen Bank, I understand, is being courted. They started accepting the driver's ID card as a form of identification. You could recall that the central bank or the Bank of Guyana, as the regulator would have introduced new measures after it was complained that people, there all kinds of hard times are being given to people that they're not even accepting the ID card, the driver's ID card. Even sometime ID card, if the check is above a certain amount, tell you, please find a passport. If you don't have a passport, find somebody else to collect for you. So there's a lot of hardship for senior citizens and others here, but Citizen Bank has started the process of complying, and they've started, according to one Facebook post, started taking those driver's ID. And then the government is also talking about opening up another city. This is something we know that our Georgetown is being, it's being bombarded from all sides. Is the oil and gas, and there's so many other things happening here. So Irfan Ali is the president of Guyana, would have been saying yesterday at the award ceremony for the private sector there, would have been making it clear that we have already started the talks and the plans to have another city. And I think he hinted at the former Silica City, which he would have announced while he was a minister prior to 2015, Minister of Housing, for somewhere along the highway there. So we're going to see, in essence, the government to start thinking, let's push the city back, let's push development back, and you're going to see more housing schemes happening on the highway heading in along that way. We have lots of lands around those areas, so should open it up, move development, move offices from Georgetown to the highway along those areas, as we try to not have a dependency with the problems that we have with our capital city, Georgetown in Guyana. Right about now, it is 1:45, and what we could tell you that we have our lines open. 62222 is where you send your messages to. Let's be able to raise your concerns to the people of Guyana, and of course, you could call us in on 226-7453. Want to say good day to all our beautiful people who've been joining us today, even in Guyana and wherever you join us from. If you're having a good season, that is because you've been working hard. If you're not, talk to somebody. It's been a tough year for people in Guyana. COVID-19, persons lost jobs, not only cane cutters, sugar workers, but it would have been so many other persons after, the retail business would have been virtually been dragged to a halt in this beautiful country of ours. So do we have a call in line? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, Leonard.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Pretty good. What's happening?
I'm getting a 6 when I run 9 for 6 in New Amsterdam, maybe, because people want to know who really run in New Amsterdam.
What happened here now?
So all the time we just pray that rain don't fall, buddy. And this climate change, Pitt Street, and Guys Avenue, you get this place in Kanji. If you see them road in a mess when it's rainfall, and people living there, so it's more than 6 for 9 we get in here.
All right. We continue to raise those. What have you done lately to ensure that you bring... I know that you and I spoke about this before. Since the time of speaking to now, did you do anything that is going to make sure that the authorities knows about the situation?
Well, with Angai Avenue, they're calling on the residents to do a little self-help. And the
self-help.
council probably will help.
Right.
And after then, somebody got to feel the squeeze.
Right.
Anyhow, you know what I noticed, Leonard? A lot of government places in flying our national flag. What happened? All the people saying, look, we ain't flying flag now because of COVID.
That's strange. I don't think there's two connections here. That's absolutely nothing.
I've been behind Ms. Sharma very long time. Very long time. There's no flag flying at the public hospital. When you look at the mental, they say all kind of flimsy excuses hearing. Up to this one and time I'm speaking to you, no national flag flying.
I'm glad, it's strange that you raised that issue. I've been thinking about patriotism and what it really means for this country. Patriotism doesn't mean that you just, you salute the flag or you stand to attention whenever the national anthems. Patriotism has to do with ensuring that people don't throw garbage, that we do things that are right, that we toe in the lines, that we see in our government office, and when we see things that we demand that our people deliver service as they good. All that is patriotism because we build in the country when we do that. These are things I wanted to point out.
Leonard, this one going to make 1 year. I begging the regional to clean the old hospital compound. There's a medical clinic down there. When you sit down in them chair there, you see Shea Bush. Nobody in case KMK.
Who's in charge of that medical hospital there?
Well, one time I hear the region, and it's like a bickering between the region and the municipality, man.
I'm going to call. There's a new regional health officer there. Her name, oh my God, Miss Sharma. I think is Miss Sharma. I'm going to call Miss. I'm going to call Miss Sharma and have a chat with her on this issue here.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous, man. And we had enough complaint in this place, man.
Man, start writing your letters to the editor, man. I would love to have them published.
I listened to the Labour Minister yesterday.
Yes.
But he reminded me of the previous minister.
Yes.
That he talked the same, only promising.
Well, let me tell you, there's a different ball game here right now. We have a radio station. We have the people's voice. And it didn't, like I told him yesterday, we will continue to hold your feet to the fire. And I think he understands that. And you know what? A man called me this morning. And the man says, Irfan Ali, and maybe he's just talking, but he has no relationship. He's not a cabinet minister. But he says, if you know the amount of reports that the ministers them got to do to ensure that they're meeting the deadlines, that they're keeping in terms of the work plan, because Barjak on Irfan Ali not taking chance. And we have criticized them a whole lot. So let's see. I think the people of Guyana are at a point where they're not taking nonsense at the moment. And we will demand from our government. But I rather believe that they don't want to fail too, because next 5 years is going to come up on us very quickly.
One thing more, Leonard, the security services. Security take a contract with the area and got no toilet. a place like the doctor's quarters at New Amsterdam.
Take the picture and send it to me. Have somebody
Oh
send it to
my
me.
boy, I tell you.
Take the picture and send it to me. Let's start the ball rolling with it.
All right, brother. Thanks for listening.
God bless. Bye bye. All the way from Berbice up there, I think the New Amsterdam area. I want to say good day to the folks here. You know, you've been complaining, you've been talking about a lot of things. I want to say all the way to quarantine. Good day to you. Esquivel Coast, what is it that you guys are doing? Supernam Creek, Fort Island. I want to say good day to the folks along the Esquivel River there, along the Esquivel Islands area, West Demerara, East Bank Demerara, Georgetown, East Coast Demerara. How it is that you guys are doing there. And one more thing, somebody has asked me if you have a used TV somewhere along the way that, or maybe we could donate. There's an amputee who's asking for some help. I think we're near to a solution with that. Stand by, sir. Somebody is going to come forward. Leonard Allahu Akbar. Sir, my beloved Guyana is not a developed country. Let us get those Haitians, Chinese, Cubans, Brazilians to try going to developed countries like the US, etc. These people are paralyzed and overwhelm our education and medical system in Guyana, plus they contribute to our crime wave. These times are serious. COVID-19 is on the rise. Oil prices are the lowest. Our skullduggery politicians sold out us to the highest bidders. Then up come the 500 Cubans on our borders. What will there be for our next generation? When I ran from Guyana, I did not go to Haiti, Cuba, China, Brazil, etc. because these countries have some of the worst human rights violation in the world. I went to the great US and made a living for myself and family. Let me get real, Leonard. Guyanese people must wake up and tell it like it is. Hail to Glenza, Guyana, Mahatma. Well, just a little clarification there, Derek. The people, from all indications, the people are not coming here to stay. While we have a percentage coming here, Guyana is being used as a stepping stone. In the case of the Cubans who were camped out at the airports there in Suriname, not the airport, so at the ferry station there at Suriname, what we understand is that they've been there, they're waiting for ferry services. Here is being used as a stepping stone. The funny thing is, if the other people, we have to start looking at it from a policy perspective. What is our policy when it comes to dealing with migrants? The migrants are coming here from Venezuela because we have decided that we're not going to refuse them. However, what are we doing to ensure that we know how many of them are here so we could be able to make plans? Because when you're doing projections and things that you need for your various regions, you have to be able to know what's it that you're planning for, unless you're flying by night or flying in the dark. So if you don't know how are you planning, are you an amateur? No, it has to be that you're doing a census, or you keeping records, or you have this thing in a controlled migrant situation. And when you come in, you record. But guess what is happening? You have authority figures like the police, the army. Yes, the police and the army and everybody are taking, it's big racket. Let me tell you, this Haitian thing has nothing to do with race. It has to do with a big racket. Everybody getting paid off. Our investigations from Kaieteur News, Glenn Lal and myself went down there. He's going to tell you, don't talk to me about that. Call Glenn Lal, 624-6456. And he's going to tell you that he went all the way to Brazil to find out when the government came up and says that, look, Kaieteur News is bringing the race issue by investigating what is happening to the Haitians. This Haitian here, why you didn't go to Trinidad to come through if you want to go to Brazil? Why is it that you come to Guyana and go through to Brazil? And why is it that we open it and allow everybody to be, there's a steady stream that is happening there? There's a lot of questions from security perspective, from a health perspective, from a sovereign country's perspective. Let's get that real. So whoever is talking about race here, they're pushing it that maybe because they have somebody who's benefiting from this entire thing. It has to do with a big gang that's operating out there. I make no bones about that because we did investigate it. And I could tell you that from my knowledge. And we did look into it. We sat down at Let Him there, Glenn Ladd and myself, by the airport. And we saw the steady stream, and the people come and tell us who's involved with it, which minibus is involved with it, who's being paid off at Kurpakari, and the policemen and so on that's there, the GRA, everybody is being paid off. Let's get it real. When I hear nonsense, people opening and jumping on the bandwagon, as my friend Yog Mahadio is saying, Do not drink the Kool-Aid. Do not drink the Kool-Aid. Do not follow the pack. Start thinking for yourself. Pick sense or nonsense. Could you go to Barbados and say you're flying to Barbados and say that you're taking a flight, you're staying there, or you're walking across the border to another place? Yes, Barbados is an island, but a landlocked place again. Could you be able to do that? Which country in the world, turns a blind eye because a few people, a few gangs? That's what it is. They're going to get very upset that we're saying this. That's the reality. So, very quickly, do we have a call in line? Good afternoon, caller, you on the air?
Yes, good afternoon. Am I on to Mr. Gildarie?
Yes, it is. Could you lower your volume on the radio, please, and then we continue?
Yes, Mr. Gildarie.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I'm a resident from East Coast, Commons Lodge section.
Commons Lodge, yes, sir.
Yes, concern this electricity stealing business.
The electricity stealing business, yes.
Yes. A few days ago, you had some bosses on the radio station. They give you two numbers to call to get on to when people stealing current.
225.
Number,
yes.
Yeah, hold on. One of the number was 226 51 52.
226. No. Let me see. 51 52. That's one number.
Yes. Anyhow, I called this number. They said the number is not in the directory. That is one.
Uh-huh.
I went in myself to Sheriff Street.
Yes, sir.
Where they have Sheriff on 4th Street. There where they have the GPL.
I know where it is.
Report.
Yes.
Right. I went in there myself. I make several complaints concerning this. 2 days ago, I went in to talk to Mr. Rupelal, the boss man himself in charge of that section there. I didn't get to see him, but he talked to me on the phone. He promised to investigate. He said no report hadn't reached to him as yet. And I make it like about 3-4 weeks, like about 4 times a week. I'm making reports there.
I want you to do me a favor. I see a frustration there.
I'm living in Commerce Lot, and these people keeping this phone on my wire from the post. And up to this morning, when the rain kept falling, this thing keeps sparking. I make several reports. So if my house burned down, it won't end nice. Because since your house burned, the first thing that is telling you thief in the current. It's the first thing they're telling you. I make several complaints. I went out to the station, it's the same. The police tell me plain that they ain't got time with current and GPL.
All right, 600 646. Call.
I called that number.
Chevion?
I called that number. I'm not getting on to it.
Well, maybe she was in a meeting, but there's another number 225. What is it? Is it 225 1471? Or is it? Let me see. It's 225 1471. Or it's 226 1471. Is that 225 or 226 1471? And let me know how it works. I want you to tell me how it worked because
225 1476.
71.
225 1471.
Or 226 1471. Anyone, I think it's one of them, but they answer it.
I'm sooner offer you. I'm going no one call it 225 1471
or 226 1471. I think it's one of the two.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir, coming through there. Thank you very much. I want to say good day to the folks down there in the Commons Lodge fire area. I hope that you're doing better. I hope that the rains haven't been affecting you. We're having some rainy seasons right now. Let me see very quickly what other people are saying. Good afternoon, Leonard. I hope you and the guys having a blessed day. I want to raise the issue about human trafficking. Government needs to do something about this. And my next issue is the Guyanese cannot go anywhere in the world and do what they want. But outside they can come to Guyana and do what they want. This is IPAS. It needs to stop. Like I said, my brother, you have the information. You can link me. We can always talk. All the parties in this country has to come and collaborate, try to work things out. Do not tear this country apart. And that's exactly what I'm seeing going on. Where's the president and all these issues? I'm sick to my stomach when I hear Leonard talk about ExxonMobil and it's ripping my people off so big. It's sad. This is what the government need to do. Deport all the illegal immigrants from the country. Let me know I'm saying something wrong because I live in the U.S. and they catch you illegally, they deport you. So what goes on goes for all. I'm saying, if I'm saying something negative here. I'm so glad that you brought up the topic there. There's so many young girls who are being molested by the boss in Guyana, and some of them are afraid to talk because the boss threatened them. This is not a lie. This is the truth. These people need to jail for life. Leonard, my brother, what you're saying there is true, but the police and the soldier of Guyana trafficking human from Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia to a different part of the world. The government need to put the foot down on the situation. Thank you very much there. As always, on the ball there. Some government places don't even have a president nor prime minister pictures in them. I'm not sure. If you know of a couple of them, let me know, because we need to start, we need to start calling out. Do not be afraid. If you see GRA mess up or you come into Kaieteur office here and you see the security not talking to you, call us, let us know. That's the only way. We need to hold people accountable. We need to start putting them to the sword and making sure that they understand that this is not what we want for this country. I have very little patience, as every single day we keep talking about the same thing. Why do I want to waste time? Do I have time to waste in my life? By the way, there's going to be a birthday coming up sometime, and all right, we're going to talk about that. CARICOM insurance time now. It's just after 2 o'clock here. CARICOM insurance time. Fender bender. Get your free coverage up to $250,000 today. Full coverage with CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Streets. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. We take a break right now, and when we come back into our telephone lines again, it's your voice.
Sleep in comfort this Christmas with a certain mattress from Singer. Buy a king-size mattress for the price of a queen and a queen size for the price of a double. Singer, at home, worldwide.
Get ready! Singer and Frigidaire are bringing you enough winnings. 4 lucky customers will win their share of $1 million in appliances from Frigidaire when they shop at Singer. Purchase any Frigidaire item from Singer to get the chance to be one of 4 winners of Frigidaire store credit valued $250,000 each. With weekly draws, the earlier you shop, the more chances you have to win. Glam up your kitchen, fix up your laundry, get enough winnings with Singer and Frigidaire. Promotion ends December 21, 2020.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. And what we say and what we've been discussing here is a big issue that is going to be, if you don't control it, if you don't get it on, some kind of structures in place, no country, if you go into them, is going to have a Wild West migrant situation. You don't know what you're playing with. America has that problem that is dealing with at the moment, and they're very serious about it. They've started putting in, even Donald Trump would have started putting in something. The question here is not whether he was doing it the correct way. The question is, are we staying very quiet about it, not paying attention? If you go down Georgetown, you go right across this country, we have Chinese, we have Brazilians, we have Haitians, we have Brazilians. You just name them, they're here. Why is it that they're here? They see a better life, a better place. So you fall under the radar, you're earning. And let's look at it. There's a couple of things that you should know. You're earning. Are you paying taxes? You're probably using the medical facilities. You go to the hospital. If you go to the hospitals, the state pays for that because it's free medical facilities that you have. And in fact, I did receive a call from somebody who complained bitterly that when you go to some hospitals where the Cuban doctors are, first priority are being given to Cubans and the other Spanish-speaking residents who are here. You understand what I'm saying to you? Your country no longer belongs to you. And maybe somebody is going to say, but Gildarie, you should understand these are migrants and they're human beings too. Understand what I'm saying to you. I'm going to say this to you, that this country belongs to us, and we need our authorities to start having a system, introduce a system which everybody in this country that is coming in through this border, we don't have an issue. We have opened the borders to the Venezuelans, and many Guyanese would have come back to, because it's a humanitarian issue. When you have an issue with everybody, it could be criminals, everybody coming across, and you don't know who is here, that's a frightening thing. You don't want to believe me? Go to the Trinidad News and see the problem that they have there right now with criminals, elements, gangs from Venezuela, involving Venezuelan citizens that's living in Trinidad right now, and the locals. There's even gangs squaring off about itself. They see some guns there. It's unbelievable. You see some stories there that Trinidad, I saw how people live in. And while on one side society things are good there, nice waters, nice beaches and everything, the crime situation has literally driven tourists away from that island there. When you go places and you pass certain places, I was there for a week. And let me tell you this, everybody, including my uncle who lives here, a good day to you, how you doing? And he knows who it is. And he's a security guard with guns and so on. And he says, do not, under any circumstances, leave wherever you are and decide you want to go walk to the supermarket. Do not wear any gold if you have any. That's what he's saying, and he's been living there for years, donkey years, as they would say it. So we come back to the situation again. The government and the authorities need to start taking this thing seriously, because you're going to wake up and you know what? Right about now, the jobs, you go to the jobs, they've been taken over by the Venezuelans and the Brazilians and the Cubans and so on. And I don't have an issue with that. The problem is our Guyanese people need to wake up also and start smelling the coffee. Many repercussions here. Do we have a call online? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Is this Gildarie?
It is.
Yeah, Mr. Gildarie.
Yes, could you lower your volume on your radio, please?
Okay. I just now heard Mr. Lal was speaking about this $25,000 what the government is sharing, right?
Who, Mr. Lal?
Mr. Lal, who have the program.
Okay, maybe not on my program. Maybe somebody else was talking about 25. I'm not on this program, but go ahead, though.
Okay. And he said in number 1 canal, the people are fighting for the money, and that is not what the government promised us. The government said house campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I don't think that is right for people. The government promised you house to house, and then they gather in, and they're fighting, and it is not nice.
Right. Well, the thing is, we've been asking, like, you've seen some attitude, for example, GWI. I'm going to call them out right away. They almost have a disgusting attitude, like GT&D.
Yes, they give the PPP a bad name, right?
No, they do that. We asking them, like, look, we have a very humble minister that came here through the Minister of Labor. And yes, I did pressure him yesterday. I pressure him with a lot of questions. But guess what? We had GPL here the other day. Everybody come in and do the thing. You know what GWI says? If the people want to complain, they call the PR department.
Yeah, but after Mr. Leonard was speaking about it, I was, because I'm a very old man. I for man more here.
Yes, sir.
And if they share the money and the people have to fight, how could I get my money? I wouldn't go in the crowd. I'm 75 years old.
So they haven't come to the Region 4 yet. I think they're about to start maybe next week. Are we waiting on an announcement from them?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear your voice, right?
Thank you very much, sir.
Program every day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Program every day, and you wake up. At least you wake up me a lot from what is going on, right?
No, our job here is to allow the people to talk, and this is not about anything. This is about the development of this country, to making our people understand that they have a lot of powers in their hands. They have a lot of powers as citizens of this country.
Mr. Gildarie, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I tell you that.
I thank you very much for that.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you very much for that, sir.
At least I'm a very old man. I'm home. And what I don't know, I get to hear from you, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm proud of you, Mr. Gildarie. God bless you.
Thank you very much, my dear. Bye-bye. So I want to say good day to the folks down there in Enmore there. Enmore has a very special place in my heart. I grew up there for a couple of years with my grandmother. I know the little back streets. I know every little thing but there. Those were the days. And if you guys are there, the Enmore has a special place because it's a community of sugar. Very quickly, hello Leonard, good afternoon to you and all the staff. I'm hearing you talk a lot about oil and gas in the program. The 20th of this month is going to make 1 year. The oil companies are pumping the oil and gas and taking away. Do you hear what I'm saying clearly? And taking it away. What can we show that we've gained from oil and gas? As far as we know, nothing. And all that we get from this company are some fantastic bills. God bless your boss, Leonard, who's enlightening all Guyana about both administration, APNO and PPP, just sitting back and allowing it to happen. Maybe they're getting something, some fat bank accounts stored somewhere in those Eastern Soviet countries or in China, India, and the Guyanese are holding stick. Now they're talking about 500 American companies come to Guyana. God help us that we don't fly, or we don't fly an American flag instead of a Guyanese flag. That's my take. Wanting you to hear you respond. But if you were listening to the Minister of Labor yesterday, how they're talking about, making sure that every time, and I did point out to him the Malaysia and the Singapore experience here, with how these people say, you want to start developing the country. When you come into my country as a foreign company or so, you need to train three of us to one of you. And right about now, I think what the minister also said there, which I am a little heartened, is that if you're a cook for a foreign company and you are a local Guyanese and you also cook, both of you must receive the same pay. That's big news for me. So yes, I agree with you. It's going to be 1 year. What have we gotten for it? Well, we'll have to assess. The companies are here, they're employing and so on. So there might be some employment. We own the oil in terms of our royalties and the profit share. What is it that we're getting as against what this company is getting? ExxonMobil, while it's a done deal, the reality is on the ground that what they have been doing in terms of their expenses, and so the inflated expenses, how they, when they say that we share with you 50-50, what does it really mean? Is it 50% of the profit? 50% of what profit, may I ask you? Start waking up and smell the coffee. And for those who are apologizing for the oil companies, this government has already recognized, they say that the oil companies, they can't do not much about it as they go forward. We have to look at other deals and see what we could get about it. But at the same time, Exxon must know. I see a story here recently that Exxon has taken such a big licks. It's dropped everything to come to Guyana. That's how sweet Guyana is. Guyana is a beautiful woman, is a handsome man. And they're coming after Guyana because Guyana has what it takes. What is it that they want? It's such a beautiful oil. It's sweet, light crude that is so cheap to process that it could make a big killing. Now, but not only that, it's not only the processing, the whole expense of everything. So instead of paying Guyana the right royalties, they pocket that. When they have to, you know what the charges for too? But I want to bring it back to you. So we were investigating, I think the newspaper I saw reported it. They're hiring planes, I think American Airlines, to bring in these workers into the country. Something you could fly. You don't know what they're paying. So if you charge in a taxi to go to the airport, and the taxi would normally charge you as a Guyanese $3,000, and you're paying $10,000 a taxi for an Exxon employee, what does that make you? So these are the things that are happening. You don't know when you look at the prices that they're paying for per ticket. And that's what ExxonMobil was saying that it was paying to American Airlines, what American Airlines saying it was offering to the Guyanese. At one point in time, it was thousands of dollars for, I think thousands of US, almost $1 million for a one-way ticket to go to Miami. What is wrong with us? What is it that we're doing? They want a bottled water. At one point in time, they're bringing the water from overseas. We have so many companies making water here. What about, simple things? We stand up in front of the office here, big columns of concrete blocks passing. Why is it that we can't produce that here or make it available so that our local companies could produce it here? What is wrong with us? Well, guess what? We didn't have a say. The company that is making those FPSOs out there, and I think it's a Dutch company, SBM Offshore, is being investigated for bribery and corruption. Well, guess what Exxon did? Give 3 contracts to these people to build 3, and we didn't have a say. Guess what? You don't know what price you're paying. What's wrong with you people? So wake up and smell the coffee. So these are things that are going to get you very angry. You hear the man says about this $25,000. We should start seeing beyond $25,000. Glenn Lally is going to tell you that. But this government says that, very, very little we could do about this oil deal, that we have to start looking at tightening, and they're tightening on other areas. But guess what? ExxonMobil needs to wake up also and smell the coffee, because they have to understand that while many other countries would have taken it, the Guyanese people are not going to take it. We are going to continue fighting it, and as Glenn says, if you guys got to come out and go in front of ExxonMobil office to protest, you would have to do that. Take to the streets. The simple reason is because it belongs to you. It belongs. And when everybody's complaining about streets and so on, you got to do self-help. You have the guy called from Pitt Street, New Amsterdam. The guy says, we have to do self-help. What is wrong with us? We're going to fight about the NDC official, but you don't want to fight for ExxonMobil who's taking out your oil. Man, what is wrong? Something going to be wrong with us. Good day to you. You are on the air. Go right ahead. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
How are you then?
Pretty good, man. Go right ahead.
Hey, me get to a certain point to local government. I called in and I spoke to one, I think it was a supervisor. Somebody gave me this number. Now she was telling me they're waiting on a long boom or a long excavator with a long handle to come. But the people got to pull in the fence. Look, I have a tape in my hand here and I just measure my yard. It's only 80 feet. Where should I pull in this thing? And I build this place higher the back for wash, and my shed is at 2 feet far from the fence. The back there, the trench, what happened, looked small. The trench was caving in. I had to plant coconut tree to hold this out there. So I don't know, people got concrete fence. When the people pull it, who gonna make it back? It's poor people living here. I can remember when these banks were making, I called in and I wrote a letter to the local government minister, ask him if these banks are close up to the fence and they got to dig, where would the high mark or where would something pass? One man on the national television said they're beautifying the place by putting in bank and gas station. And this was the explanation I got a couple of years back. Now you see this trouble for cleaning the trench is very, very hard.
Well, they need to fix it and they need to fix that because there's an issue that's brewing. You need to clean the trench. If you need to think that the banks cannot be holding in money and making so much of millions of dollars. And there's all the three banks are there. The Rare Bank, GBTI, Republic Bank. You guys got to understand that you have a responsibility not only to make money, but you also have a responsibility to have your surroundings clean. And that is a trench.
I can tell you in 2009 we had a flood inside again. And I spoke to the Minister of Agriculture. That was Robert Prasad. And that man told me, I think me and he was in the Guyana Chronicle, that he's going to talk to the bankers them to pull in their friends, and if the government have to do it, they're going to do it. That thing fell on the right place and he got through the left hand, and that was that. So I don't know where we are right now at present. But the girl which I spoke to, I think she need to go back to school too. She was not speaking properly.
Thank you very much for that. I hear what you're saying. All right?
May I go, my brother? Take care.
Thank you. All the way from Diamond here on the east bank of Demerara. I want to say good day to the folks down in Diamond, in the Grove, the Golden Grove area, Samantha Point, Caneville. I know that we have Elizabeth Sunich as well as my lady at the back there in at the back of Caneville there, Janet, tuned in to us every single day, and she always wishes us, and she always calls, and so many people, even in New York, and so I miss all of them. But Tara Jack, thank you very much, my dear. We have so many people who are tuned in, but it's not, like I've always said, this show is not about Gildarie, it's not about that. I didn't do this show here. We didn't start this show here because of that. We have our responsibility. Sometimes in the world, you have to ask yourself, what have you done lately for the people around this globe? What have you done to improve the lives of our people? What are you doing in terms of leaving a legacy that your children could be proud of? That the country could stand up and say, Riaz or Raj, you have done something that your children could be proud when you would have passed on. Because sometime or the other, the good Lord is going to call on you. And when you go there, you should leave a legacy that your children could walk with the heads high up in the air and says, I'm proud of my daddy or my mommy. You have to start doing it, and we got to fight like never before. We got to be proud of our singers. We got to be proud of our food that we have here. We got to be very passionate about the care and whatever else you want to call it for national treasures. We could talk about the St. George's Cathedral. We could talk about the State House. We could talk about the Prime Minister's residence. We could talk about all these places, our seawall and things like that. We should be very angry that we have people right now cleaning up the seawall every single day, giving their time. And a bunch of people who don't care goes out there and messes up back again. Because why? They didn't do it and somebody else is going to clean it. That's the attitude that needs to change. That's a culture that needs to change in this country. The country belongs to me. If you don't want to fight for it, we are going to fight for it. But you need to wake up too, because you're suffering also. You could have a Cadillac lifestyle. I want to say that, because you have so much wealth out there. We have so much wealth in this beautiful country. But you could sit on your hands, like I've always said, and you could do nothing about it, or you could fight for it. It's about time that we join this government and we give them the help, not only depend on the government to deliver services, but we could also help within our community. That's what community, a civic-minded person, that's what the duties are. That's what it entails. I didn't had all this thing. I didn't go far in school, but what I do know, I can tell you that when it comes to going forward with this country, I know what I want my kids to grow up under. I know where I want them to be. I know what kind of citizens I want them to be. I know what I want my neighbor to do. I want them to clean their side of the yard. What are you doing? What are you saying? Are you afraid of your neighbor? What's it that you're doing as a citizen of this country? So we got to get it right. So very quickly, let's go back to our people what they're saying right now. My brother, if you don't stand up for what is right now, we are leaving for a future generation. That's what I want to ask. What are we leaving for the future generation? So very quickly, let me see what else. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. I lived 30 years in Venezuela, never get an ID card, but if Venezuela comes here and get an ID card in 1 month, they have more rights, more than we Guyanese. They go all over the place with no documents. Listen to me. All Guyanese, let's go and stop this ExxonMobil. Stop taking your oil. Come on. Come on now. Good afternoon, Gregory, to you and your colleagues, and big up all together to DJ Riaz. People actually saying hello to you, boy, after you didn't bring anything for me. But it's all right. You're very forgiving people. I hope there are a few bank employees now are being charged concerning the James Bond $1 million deposit. This crop land transaction deal would have been brought to light a lot sooner had the bank employees followed the law. Mr. Gregory, ExxonMobil is not to blame for the lopsided deal Guyana got for its oil. APNU and PPP is to be blamed. And that's what the person is saying. Good afternoon, Leonard. I'd like to host Sheikh Bash on the program. The Water X is read for months now. Parfait Harmy Tushenhausen, can you let them know what is going on? The people need answers. You just can't sit in the office. I think you missed the show, or you didn't get the memo what I said the last couple of days, and I'm going to repeat it again. I did say it again today. I sent out a message to the PR. The PR took weeks. I got on to the PR again. The PR came back to me and called and says, GWI discussed the issue of coming onto the program, and GWI says that if anybody got any issue, to please call the PR department. They're not going to come on the radio program, and they don't know when they're going to come. I'm not sure what else to tell you. If there's more plainer language than that, GWI, GPL has come here. We would have had GT&T. Well, when you're big, you're big. We were simple folks here. We could only name and shame, which we'll continue to do. As they say, the boys would say, you need to get up and smell the coffee and understand GWI, that you're serving the people are not serving you. You need to deliver your service. And so this matter here, I will take to the next level. We're going to see who is going to blink for us. Mr. Gildarie, good afternoon. I have a problem with NIS. They're telling me to call back next 2 weeks every time I call them. I'd like to know how I could meet the minister that is in charge of NIS. You have a number for Dr. Vindio? Thank you very much for that. I'm going to get the number, and it's the Ministry of Human Services. I'm going to ask my boy to, could you get a number for the Ministry of Human Services, please? Maybe have a directory there. Get a directory for me. So we are going to do that. In the meantime, do we have a caller online? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I calling concern the Suriname border.
Suriname border. Very good topic. Go ahead.
I would like to know when it is open.
On the 14th of December, they are going to allow the ferry to start coming here. All protocols with regards to COVID-19 are to be observed.
The 14th?
The 14th of December, that's what the authorities are saying.
Okay, my family is over there. I'm glad to see to come over.
Well, what it needs to do, because I rather presume there's a lot of people who would want to travel, I think this needs to start making contact with the ferry to reserve their space. That's one.
Start it early because he got come in Georgetown.
Right, they got to start it early, start getting the COVID-19 tests, so get themselves ready, because I rather presume that they are going to be required to do some tests.
All the airstrip open. What happened now?
No, no, no. You can't. You just can't open an entire ferry just like that. You're putting people right next to each other with vehicles. It has to be managed in such a way because Suriname numbers were going up, and we haven't opened the border with Venezuela neither. Sorry, with Brazil and so on. So I think that's what they were waiting for. When the president went to Suriname, they said because of the figures they were gonna wait and see if the figures are gonna drop the numbers. But then they come out back, I think, a couple days back, and it says, look, we have reached and we have studied the situation. We are going to open that ferry service, and it's going to happen from the 14th of December. I understand. That's what they say.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, my dear. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yes. So it's the Wake Up Guyana show here right now on Kaieteur Radio. You are tuned in to 99.1 in Esquimalt and Demerara. And in Berbice, it is 99.5. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie, and this is what you need to know. The people are saying this today, according to one person that is tuned in to us on the radio. Hi, good afternoon. I'm a high car driver, hustle in and out. The police on the number 19th village, quarantine Berbice, driving police car, and all of a sudden put on horn, and they pull down vehicles and charge the court for no reason. Sorry, I'm a poor person. I have family to look after. Please highlight this text for me. Please, thank you. And they only charging one set of people. They don't do it all over in one day. I have videos of the police doing it only to make money. Please, sir, I need your help. I need to have the money to go to court a few days now. Some people at number 65 put wooden blocks on the road in the night, and I hit it and damaged my car. I borrow money to make it. I'm in debt right now. So, people are really, really complaining there in the Berbice area. They're saying the police charging only one set of people of a specific ethnic background. What I would suggest, you have two things to do there, sir. You need to get on to the commander in Berbice there and say that you have spoken to us and that we ask you to get on to him. That's one. Two, I think you could make a case, if you want to start this process here, the Ethnic Relations Commission. They are holding a conversation, I think, later on this month here to talk about what is happening. But that doesn't stop you as a citizen to complain against the police that maybe if you look at the makeup of the people who are being charged, maybe you could open something there, open an investigation. Is it that Indians or Amerindians are driving more crazy on the road and breaking all the traffic laws more than the others? We don't know, but it might be an interesting investigation to launch. I'm just saying, and so maybe there's something there. But in the meantime, Berbice there, quarantine Berbice, number 19 village. Police, be on the guard. People are paying attention to what you're doing there, and they're complaining bitterly by some of what they're alleging to be discriminatory practices when it comes to shaking down and getting people. Police are soliciting from a driver in Rosignol yesterday. Saw my relative came from Guyana and crossed with the ferry yesterday. So the ferry is open as of yesterday. Is the ferry open? We got to find back because I just reported what they said there. I'm not sure. I got to find out. There can't be the ferry because we understand it's from the 14th. I'm going to find out. Good morning, sir. Beautiful Miss Marie Passad of Diamond Housing Scheme. Wishing you a good day. A wonderful day. Sir, can the Diamond Grove NDC do something about the plastic stalls at the entrance of Diamond Scheme? The new one on the right-hand side when you are going into the scheme is blocking the view of drivers. Are we going to wait for something to happen before some sort of action being taken? Maria, do me a favor. Could you get on to Mr. Harper, the G3 building there? He would have been engaging us, and he is very accommodating. Please get on to him. I think his number, I don't happen to have his number right now, but please get on to him and see you can make the report and ask him to do something like that. You cannot be put in stalls. I'm wondering how the police allowing or how the NDC allowing all these stalls that is creating a traffic jam there at the head of the Diamond Scheme there. There's one fine road or one skinny road or one narrow road is coming in and out, and you're blocking the entire thing. I don't understand that. Do we happen to have a call there? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Larry.
Yes, sir.
I want to discuss with you quickly. You don't think that we got sufficient space and land that we're not supposed to get in just season greens in terms of we got a time where we get bountiful borough, and next time there's a down in it. There's supply and demand. It don't be there. And I'm saying that we got adequate land, and that should not be. Secondly, Now, yesterday here you had a discussion with the minister speaking and a fellow called you, right? And the fellow telling you about NIS and where you work. One of the place he mentioned was Monishwar. And he mentioned to you that when you go and lodge a complaint, by the time you get back there, somebody already called and mentioned it. But man, Gildarie, the impression that I under with you, like you don't live in this country, because I hear at one time you tell me, no, there's an allegation. I unite with you for making such a statement. There's not no allegation. This whole thing is a frenzy thing. You know, last night what Leonard said, you know what your boss said? Here what your boss said last night on national radio. He said he sees some people replaced back in the government and Guyana finish with how you explain if you boss saying this to this nation, right? And you work hand in hand together with he, like how you mentioned about when you are traveling in the tundra and the way you speak to the policeman with the vehicle and etc.
Yes.
If you saying Guyana in trouble, he didn't say Guyana in trouble, he said Guyana done with. Some people he see replaced back in government. I always just tell you this, you know. I remember Yog, the whole in Infernally asking you show TV cut in terms of not some people replacing back in position. And if it worrying Glenard, like I'm eating with Glenard because a lot of people got me in such a position that I want to know if there is Sharon Das. I see a lot of people are Sharon Das, but I don't have the evidence that they Sharon Das. But I stand up on the ground. But this is it. I'm satisfied with you telling the fella yesterday that there's an allegation. It's not an allegation. It is facts that these people is a liaison frenzy thing. But hear this. The minister said it. He said they got an umbrella under this security thing. And when he thought he was speaking straight over, it was a small thing he's speaking to. Most of the people that does run, most of the people in the security section is African people. And prior to Afro-Guyanese in the section, I'm glad that Hamilton, the minister, laid out the way that they do function in the advantage state. But let me tell you something. In the particular area, it don't need Jaguar to stand up for the rights. It don't need Glenland to stand up for the rights. It don't need the president to stand up for the rights. It's people in their own compartment need to stand up, which is the people that run in the form. Most of these forms is run by ex-police and ex-army. So they need to stand up there. But what really want to get over to you, please, don't try to cover up for nobody.
No, I wasn't covering up. You see, as my thing here, right? Sometimes, and I thank you very much for raising that, because it's good to point out some of the things that we could improve this show. I always welcome that, and I really appreciate what you're saying there.
And let me tell you something. Hold on. I'm going to give you a chance to comment and let somebody else come. Let me tell you this. I personally won't be surprised if I hear that you finishing with this show and you migrating out to this country. Sometimes you may not migrate for the sake of you, but just to take your kids them and green patches, it wouldn't be no surprise to me. But I'm satisfied that your boss have said it, but it's in trouble. So let me go on after here and let somebody else call in.
Hey man, I like you. Thank you very much for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just to answer something that the gentleman has said here before we continue, it is because sometimes, we receive so many calls. We got to be very careful that whenever anybody call, they make allegations, and you don't want to paint everybody in the brush. This is why I always said there's some very good police officers in the police force, but then there's some rogue elements as well. And yes, you hear all kinds of stories. Even Joseph Hamilton, as a Minister of Labor, they made it very clear that you hear all kinds of stories. People text him, people you don't even know got his number, you don't know how they got it, but they text him and they give him all kinds of stories. But he says we cannot act until we have a report. You would hear all kinds of stories. I rather suspect, because you hear all these things with labor officers being paid off by business, and so they don't need to go visit places. They don't go visit places, but they come back and say all is dandy and nice. And these are some of the things that we have to deal with. But I hear what you're saying, brother, and I thank you very much for that. And talking about overseas, yes, that is a situation that sometime or the other I would have to deal with. Story for another day with the United States of America. Hello, I'm sorry, I sent you a 6-digit code by SMS by mistake. Could you send it to me, please? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Yeah. Please send a send message there. Good morning, guys. I think this is for this morning. No. I think we would have missed it. Let me see. Mr. Gildarie, the minister didn't tell you when to come in the village to keep meeting. Don't the minister don't tell you when they come into the village to keep meeting Tushen. I'm not sure about that. They don't normally tell us anything. We don't work with the government here. We are separate. We are a private news entity that report the news without fear and favor here. Whoever comes on, whether you take pot shots at us, whether you want to complain about somebody in government, that's what it is. On Thursday, December the 3rd, this is what one person say. We need a fair deal for oil. December the 3rd, yes. Good afternoon, Leonard. It looked like when someone crashed and died, then something will be done about the road in Mahaica. This is the road with a big hole in the middle. Man, let me send this minister this thing again. This is Minister Deodat. Minister Deodat. I didn't get a chance to go up to Borbies yet, so I couldn't see the road, but there's one of the things that I'd have to do. Mahaica Road. Gotta let them go back there again. I don't understand how nobody's seeing this. We need to come together to get some stickers to place on all the cars to say we need a fair deal or to get out Exxon. Sir, good afternoon. Saudi police station on the Escobar Coast region to only care for the rich and not the poor. I would send more details. Please do. I like to big up our police officers and others who doing this our nation a big disservice. So let's big them up today, wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you be a public service, whether a public service official, a staffer, whether you're a policeman, whatever, wherever that you're serving. Let us big up everybody who is doing this country a big disservice and giving us a bad name. Guyana is blessed, but our leaders are extremely greedy. Let me see what they're saying here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What is the threshold? Does it go for private-owned company? Let me see. I don't know about that. Let's see, 204. Okay. Thank you very much. Do we have another caller on the air? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Okay. We would have missed that right about now. But let me see some other messages here that we are having. 153, 122. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Gildarie. How are you doing? I just want to say thank God for you. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. I want to know if Sentinel would get bonus. I'm not sure. Sentinel is a private matter for Sentinel there. But I did ask the minister about the security company yesterday, and so he said there's a big issue that is coming before them, and he did talk in length about what is happening here. Do we have another caller on the air? Good afternoon, caller on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, Gildarie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
On the TV, I have a TV for the guy.
Oh, you have a TV. Thank you very much for that. He is living somewhere up on the East Coast there. I could probably, maybe you could text the number right now to 6222222. And I'm going to text you the guy's number because he did call me this morning and, he wants to talk about a couple of things, which I'm going to talk just now. But thank you very much for that, man. It's an amputee, and I really thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a nice sharp TV.
Right.
When the program finishes, you can text you my number.
Thank you very much for that, sir. And that's a good citizen of Guyana.
And if you got kids and things, we could maybe get some stuff for them.
Well, maybe you could talk to him because he says he came out to the hospital. He was very depressed. And he says he has his kids and so, but he wants to go home. He don't want to be in a depressed state.
We could talk about it in the program. I'm going to listen to it. Thanks.
Thank you very much for that. The gentleman...
I'll get back to you when the program finish.
Thank you very much there, sir. And, I want to say kudos to that resident there. When you see people reach out, and do it selflessly, somebody has reached out and they want some help. And, it's a strange request. Somebody wants a television. It did perk up me a little there. But guess what? They're asking for it and honestly from the heart and if you could do something. The guy is not saying to give me money or anything. He says I need to go home. I need to keep in contact with the news and I want something to keep me occupied. When you're amputee and you can't move around or anything like that, it is a place that you don't want to be. I don't wish that on anybody, but this guy has a very upbeat attitude. But he says, he wants the government to look into a couple of areas which could improve the lives of those people who have physical problems, like in this particular case, there's some new words to describe those people, physical disabilities and so on. I'm going to be very careful because people get upset when we use the wrong terms to describe people. But if you have issues like this, and you're challenged, physically challenged and so on, it is a place that you don't want to be. Nobody wants to lose a limb. Nobody wants to, have issues with the eyes. You can't see properly. You can't walk. You're subjected to a wheelchair and so on. And when we see our people, when they reach out for help, and our people come together and they come forward and say, "Look, I want to help something," I want to say thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate that on behalf of that gentleman. He did call me regularly, maybe to remind me, but also to say that, I want you to look at this. So he's also very positive in his mindset, and I want to say thank you very much to that, sir. And I like your attitude. Those are the kind of people we want for this country, as we try to fight, as we battle every day to make this country into a better country. Do we have another caller on line? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you lower your volume on the radio, please?
Yeah, Mr. Gildarie.
Okay.
The thing is, you know me well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, very well.
Yes, sir.
The hope well. How can I be paying the same money with a stink water coming through the well, and then the people in charge, some of the people, they are paying the same money like I am going to pay?
I'm not sure, I don't know how to answer you. I was hoping to get some answers from GWI as to what they're doing. I don't know what to say to you, dear, but I am going to have a chat with the Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell, and maybe even Susan Rodriguez, there to explain to them that...
because Mr. Gildarie, the water here in the morning, you can't...
Where is this? This in Eccles?
No, Friendship.
Friendship, yeah. Oh, yes, I know, yes.
The new Hope well.
Yes, sir.
The water you can't bathe, even to bathe it, you're afraid to bathe with it. And I am paying the same money that the people are getting treated water for. And I'm a pensioner too.
I'm going to send this to Minister Crowell because it's obvious that GWI doesn't want to do anything. And I'm going to send this to Minister Crowell and ask him to look into it. The Friendship East Bank Demerara well.
Yeah. You know who's speaking to you?
I think I have an idea. Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
Jennifer Father.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to send that to Minister Crowell in a very short while. But what do I, could I tell you? Hi. Okay. I'm not sure. The minister didn't tell you when to come. I'm not sure what his message is. Okay. Hi, sir. What happened with this Ponzi scheme? I'm not sure what happened to it. The police, I think we would have carried some stories on it. That the people, the latest story on the Ponzi scheme is that I think the Ponzi people says that, or the authority says that the Ponzi people provide them with a bank account that had very little information or that had no funds inside. So I'm not sure what is happening there. We're going to try to bring you some other details on that. In the meantime, do we have another caller in the air? Good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Good afternoon, everybody out there.
Good afternoon.
A little bit of contribution I would like to, or more so a little suggestion. We know the traffic situation is getting out of control. They're working towards doing something about it. But the little thing we try to overlook is that during off-peak period at the harbor bridge, ascending and descending from the harbor bridge, you would normally drive maybe about 25, 30, 35 between to 50 kilometers on the bridge. But when it's time to go on to the bridge or come off of the bridge, you have to go down all the way to zero. And that little thing there, this contributes to a major build-up before the harbor bridge. I mean, after all, I think the harbor bridge company have an asphalt plant. So I'm just thinking here that we could at least get some asphalt, being put
That's on
there so
the
that
western side or on the eastern side?
both side. You gotta almost stop to come off the bridge. Whereas, with the same speed you're going onto the bridge, you can come off, and the traffic would flow a bit faster. I would think.
Those are the approaches. All right. Yes, I think they had
That's
some
right.
issues. They had done some work a couple of years back on that. I'm going to raise this matter again with the
Yeah, just to, onto the bridge and off of the bridge, instead of having to stop to come off the bridge, we can at least, go a little bit faster off the bridge, because as the vehicle come off, others can come on faster, and would result in a bit smoother flow, I would say.
I thank you for that. I'm going to talk to Mr. Ralston Adams about that, who's the general manager, and maybe they could put that as part of their work plan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So you tuned in here to the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio with your host Leonard Gildarie. It's just about 2:45, 2:46, and we happen to have W.R. Riaz in the house. W.R. Riaz, is there something that you're going to share with the people for Christmas or something, or are we going to continue the same road that we've been walking? Yes. Yeah, he's waiting on bonus from Glenlyle. I'm not sure whether Glenlyle is there. Every time you see Glenlyle and you talk about bonus, Glenlyle doesn't disappear and act. I'm not sure. There's something that's very, very suspicious about Glenlyle. Wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, sir, know that I'm a very loyal staff, and I've been working very, very hard. And I'm not saying anything to disrespect you. It's just that we like poking fun at you because you are a troublemaker, born troublemaker. You do all kinds of things and you make laugh, and you do there's a lot of things that Glenn does to some of his staffers, and you would not believe. This guy face straight, and he really pokes fun. He's a fun-loving guy, but when it comes to the work, when it comes to protecting Guyana, very serious man. So I enjoy working with him because he pushes you to your limit to be for you to be able to achieve, and that's something that I like. I always like a challenge, and I always like to do things differently, and that is something, as Guyanese do not. We see might have a little farm that is planted, and every time the weather is killing us, and we know what the problem is. What are we doing to fix it? How are we getting over our challenges? How are we getting over our problems? Who are we talking to? Are we seeking help, or are we continuing on the same line every year, doing the same thing? Remember, I said to you before, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different results, you're in for a rude awakening. You're going to get the same old results. So do something different. This year, there's going to be a new year coming up. Yes, we are still in the pandemic mode right now of the country being in a semi-lockdown mode. And you know what I mean. A lot of business still closed. Whether people are still doing things, the same cavalier attitude that they have been operating in the last couple of months, they've been doing the same thing. So you wonder whether we do really happen to have a lockdown. But as we go forward into a new year, because we are in December, we are December the 3rd already, we have to ensure that we should not have a repeat of 2020 ever again. Who could have imagined that when we started the year 2020, so much to look forward to, and then bam, that truck called a pandemic hit upon us. And then, of course, let's don't talk about the crying shame, the elections of 2020, and that's just a mild word to describe it. It should be a shame on those politicians, a story that push a storyline that was so very different from what is coming out in courts and so on and so forth. What we should be looking for is ensuring that we raise the bar and insisting that our politicians raise their bars, so they could be able to start understanding that when they go into office there, it's not for them to sit there and drive around in the Prado. It's not for them to take the duty-free concessions from Parliament. I'm talking both sides of the divide here. This is the opposition as well as the government. You have a duty to deliver services to the people. When the people call, when the people want a house lot, you should be able to tell them something definitive. I can't give you your house lot this year. Do not fool the people. When the opposition sit there, you're not sitting there because there needs to be an opposition in the National Assembly. If they can't get a government official to represent them, the opposition is the one who could pick up the phone and has such a good relationship with the government that you could say, "What's boss, man, minister? This is Joseph Harmon calling here," or "This is Christopher Jones calling here." And I would like you to look into the application of Leonard Gildarie or W.R. Riaz. Could you look in? That's the kind of things, because you look at America, you look at all over the place, politicians talk to each other, they try to get things because you're representing the people, whether you like it or not. The coalition represents 217,000 persons who voted for them at least in the recent elections. Those are not figures that are insignificant. 233 persons, 1,000 persons voted for the People's Progressive Party Civic. Those 31 members of the National Assembly who represent the opposition have to wake up and smell the coffee, have to start representing the people, have to start acting responsibly. And it so happened that one seat that's being held by the joined parties, the small parties as we call them, the third parties. They have to start understanding that don't exist, do not be around the place there, and people see you coming through the door and they don't hear from you. We have to hear from you. Start writing letters, start insisting that you make comments to the newspapers, start doing your work. Do not sit there. You went and you campaigned and spent so much money. What is it that you're doing? You cannot be doing those kinds of, you cannot be having, sit on your hands, as I say it. Wake up, smell the coffee. It's that kind of mood that we're in. So let me see what this place. This is a place that they sent us some pictures. I'm not sure what these pictures are, but hi, good afternoon, Gildarie. I think that the person is trying to tell you that the people have not been informed when the ministers come into the villages, and that's so true. Yes, the people are complaining in the Tushant area, and so the ministers are going to various areas and they're not telling or not giving adequate notice or notice that the people should are being told. You can't just put on Facebook and expect the people to know. You got to have the NDCs or so on to be acting, or whoever it is that's ringing the bell. Somebody got to be ringing the bell. Back in our days and then more, I can remember people coming across, "Hi, good afternoon, ting-a-ling-a-ling," and then they say, "Good afternoon. This afternoon at 4 o'clock in front of the post office here, along back road, we're going to have so in the house." Or so is going to be addressing on issues of so. We need to tell the people. We need to have them engaged. How are you going to do it? By having 5 people sitting there? So you want to know why people call meetings and then 5 people turn up is because you didn't do your homework. The people that you have around you are lazy people. Wake up, smell the coffee, Good afternoon, sir. We here in Hubu Bagdam East Bank Escape are facing some issues with drainage. The chairman for Region 3 was in here for about a month ago, but nothing has been done. When the rain falls, the drain on the road front fills up and there's no way for the water to go. We need an outlet to be dug for the water to run out. It causes our garden and livestock to be flooded. This is a very stupid problem. How do you get in an excavator and just dig one hole and solve the people problem and not have it? Could you please, whoever this person is, please get on to the RDC people again and tell them that you spoke to us and let's see what they have done. I need you to do that. And if you see that you spoke to somebody and you didn't get through or you don't have anything, call me back, let me know, and I'm going to personally put a call through that. Thank you very much for that. Do we happen to have another call in line? One more call. Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Hello? Yes, we don't happen to have that. Okay, somebody has sent a message. This is a condition of a road in Montrose. It's after GWI came and fixed the pipe. It's damaging our cars. Yes, I know about GWI. I did report a situation in my road after I see the water bubbling from the middle of the road. I called them to fix it. I think Van Charles was there as the managing director, CEO there a couple of months back. They came and fixed it, dig up the road, and you should see the mess until they came and fixed the road. But this is something that GWI, I think you need to call the PR department and you need to tell them somebody need to come fix the road as they got it. How they got it is how they need to fix it and leave it. They can't just come break up the road, and that's none of their business. They just leave it just like that. And could you kindly let me know what's the response from GWI? The GWI is saying, Guyana Water Inc. is saying that the people don't call the PR department enough for them to get the news. And so I'm going to have a chat with Minister Colin Crowell today about the attitude of GWI, which is really getting me crazy here. Mr. Gildarie, the minister. Okay, let me see. My brother, the reason why some of the government officials taking advantage is that people like me and you put them there, and they don't get to the position to sit there. They get to that position to go out and dwell with the people, see what's wrong, and right now tell me and saying something wrong. Thank you very much for that. Hi, Gildarie. Good afternoon. Where's Dr. Vindia office? Thank you very much for that. Dr. Vindia office is on the east of the Georgetown Public Hospital on Lamaha Street. It's right next door to the Lotto office here. Ministry of Human Services. Ministry of Human Services, right next door to the Cancer Institute. There's the east of the Cancer Institute, east of the public hospital on Lamaha Street there. You're going to see it big there. Thank you very much. And it is 2:55 now. It is time for us to say goodbye. If you've missed our program here today, you could, you could relook at it on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. We were coming to you live on 99.1 in Escobar and Demerara, and Berbice 99.5. I want to say thank you very much for joining us as usual. Wherever you would have joined us from, it's always a pleasure. Keeping us company here, making a contribution, and to all those folks on Facebook, on YouTube, also commenting and so on. Thank you very much. We might not be able to read all your comments and so on. We have several comments. People have been coming in like crazy, and so whatever it is that you're doing, have a heart, make sure that you don't get too despondent, that you don't lose hope. We have a new year coming up. There's a brand new government in place. We have a good hope that they are going to deliver. I think there's a lot of energies coming from the minister. There's an energy that seem to want to give the impression that we don't want to fail, that when we come to next 5 years for election, that we want to have left a legacy, that they would want to put us back in there. And that is the kind of understanding that I want the government to know, that, every 5 years elections, you need to deliver services. And I do believe that there's a lot of energy coming from Bar Jagdeo as the vice president, as well as from Mayor Ferry, our president of Guyana, even from the First Lady. You see her getting herself involved in a lot of things. So thank you very much. I hope that we've uplifted your lives today. We hope that we've educated you. We hope that we've made you more aware. We hope that we have awakened you right here on the Wake Up Guyana show, so we could make you smell the coffee. And the coffee is that you're a citizen and you deserve so much more in this country. But do not sit on your hands. Wake up and start doing things for yourself too. We need all shoulders, all hands on deck, as they would say. Have a pleasant rest of the day. Until tomorrow, same place, same time.